All right, let's get right into it. Imagine you're a Twitter employee, just going about your day, and you get a pretty routine phone call. On the other end of the line is a guy from your internal help desk talking about some VPN connection problems. So you do what he says. You type in your username, your password, you confirm the login on your phone, and boom, just like that, the caller has everything he needs. Because that caller, he wasn't from the help desk at all. He was a 17-year-old kid who was about to kick off the biggest hack in the history of Twitter. That teenager's name was Graham Ivan Clark. And in that moment, as he's hanging up the phone, he's just breached one of the most powerful social media platforms in the entire world. And the story of how a kid from Florida managed to hijack the accounts of Barack Obama, Bill Gates, and Elon Musk, well, believe it or not, it all starts in the world of Minecraft. So who exactly was Graham Clark? Well, back in 2016, he's just a 13-year-old kid living in Tampa, Florida. He's homeschooled, doesn't really have a lot of friends, and his parents had split up when he was young. So his escape, like for so many other kids, was the video game Minecraft. But for Graham, it quickly turned into something else. Online, Graham went by the name Open, and he started making money by selling these rare Minecraft skins and really flashy usernames. The only problem? He'd take the money and then just never deliver the goods. Now, that might sound pretty small time, but get this. According to him, by the time he was just 14 years old, this lonely kid was pulling in $5,000 a month. But scamming a few Minecraft players wasn't going to be enough for him. Pretty soon, Graham stumbled onto this really shady corner of the internet called OG Users. Now, this is a forum where people buy and sell rare online usernames and they trade stolen accounts. It was basically a digital underworld, crawling with hackers and scammers, and it's right here that Graham discovered a much more powerful and way more lucrative kind of scam. So Graham graduated from these little Minecraft scams to something called SIM swapping. This is really where he leveled up his game from just a petty scammer to a high-stakes cyber criminal. And the scariest part about all this? It's deceptively simple. So what even is a SIM swap? Well, it's not about writing some sophisticated genius code. Nope. It's all about manipulation. A scammer calls your mobile provider, they pretend to be you, and they convince the customer service agent to transfer your phone number to a brand new SIM card, one that the scammer controls. And once they have your number, they have the keys to your entire digital life. Just take the case of tech investor Greg Bennett. Someone literally walked into an AT&T store, pretended to be him, and got his number swapped. The very next thing Bennett knew, his phone had no signal. The hackers used his number to intercept all those two-factor authentication codes, reset his passwords, and get into everything: his email, his bank, and most importantly, his crypto wallet. The hackers stole 164 Bitcoin from Greg Bennett's account. At the time, that was worth over $856,000. Today, that would be worth over $10 million. Now, while multiple people may have been involved, authorities found evidence that linked the attack to a very specific online alias, Scrim, which was one of the names that was reportedly used by Graham Ivan Clark. So, with his crypto profits, Graham starts living large. We're talking his own apartment, a white BMW, a Rolex just covered in gemstones. But even before he turns 18, he sets his sights on his biggest target yet, Twitter. And he wasn't going to hack individual users one by one. No, he wanted to get inside the company itself. His method was honestly shockingly low-tech. He just used LinkedIn to find the contact info for Twitter employees. Then he'd call them up, pretending to be from the internal help desk. He'd send them a link to a fake login page, and when they entered their credentials and that two-factor authentication code, he captured it all. It was pure old-school social engineering. So he gets a few employees on the phone. Some of them get suspicious and they report him. But one of them believes the story. And just like that, Graham is inside Twitter's network. He's connected to an employee's computer. But there's a problem. This particular employee doesn't have the high-level permissions he needs to take over user accounts. So he had to dig deeper. He starts poking around Twitter's internal network, reading through countless internal messages. And then he hits the jackpot. He finds the login details for someone in Twitter's legal department. This account had deep administrative access. Now, with just a few clicks, Graham could take over any Twitter account he wanted. Okay, so by now, alarm bells are going off at Twitter's security team. They're seeing all these suspicious login attempts, they're getting reports about the weird help desk calls. The clock is ticking, loudly. Graham knows it's only a matter of time before they find him and lock him out. He has to act, and he has to act fast. So using the new alias, Kirk, Graham puts together a crew on the messaging platform Discord. He recruits people with solid reputations on that OG users forum, guys like Chewan and Rolex to act as his middlemen. And to get them to trust him, he tells them he's a Twitter employee, and their job is to help him sell these rare, super sought-after Twitter usernames. And so the operation begins. The crew starts posting on OG users, any Twitter account you want, for a price, usually between $2,500 and $3,000. Payment is in Bitcoin only. And the instructions were crystal clear. No small talk, just drop the handle they want and make an offer. For a few hours, they're selling access to accounts like @XX, @Dark, and @Vampire. But selling usernames for a few $1,000s a pop is just too slow. With Twitter security closing in on him, Graham decides to pivot to a much bigger, much faster scam. He creates a website called Crypto for Health, and he comes up with this irresistible promise. Send Bitcoin to this wallet, and we will send you back double the amount. Now, all he needed was a way to promote it. He started by hijacking the accounts of crypto influencers and major exchanges like Binance and Coinbase. But to get the kind of reach he really wanted, he had to move on to much, much bigger targets. And then the scam goes global. He tweets from Elon Musk's account, then Bill Gates, then Kanye West, Jeff Bezos, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Apple, Uber. In total, he breaches over 130 accounts, blasting his crypto scam from 45 of them to millions and millions of followers. For every tweet that Twitter's team managed to delete, Graham would just post another one. His Bitcoin wallet just got fatter and fatter by the minute. Meanwhile, inside Twitter headquarters, it is absolute chaos. Someone is deep inside their system, and they just can't stop him. With the platform spiraling completely out of control, they're forced to make a really drastic decision. They have to pull the plug. So Twitter limits core functionality across the entire platform. A ton of verified accounts are frozen. They're unable to tweet or even reset their passwords. And it works. By killing all the active VPN sessions, they finally lock Graham out. But the move had some serious unintended consequences. The National Weather Service, for example, couldn't post a tornado warning. The hack was over, but the investigation was just getting started. So after all that chaos, how much did he actually make? Well, Graham reportedly walked away with about $180,000 in Bitcoin, but it could have been so much more. Authorities acted super quickly, alerting crypto platforms to freeze the wallets tied to the scam, and they blocked an estimated $1.5 million in additional transactions. Tracking the attackers down, well, it didn't take very long. Just 2 weeks after the hack, authorities started making arrests. Mason Chewan Shepherd, who was in the UK, was charged but never actually extradited. The fate of Nima Rolex Facelli is still unclear, and as for Graham, because he was a minor, his hearing was held over Zoom. He cooperated with the authorities and was sentenced to 3 years in a juvenile facility. He's already out. You know, when you boil it all down, Graham Clark wasn't some brilliant coder who found a secret flaw deep in Twitter's code. The foundation of this entire massive attack was just simple social engineering. He just manipulated people using really basic phishing tactics and a convincing voice on the phone to bring a global platform to its knees. And that leaves us with a pretty unsettling question, doesn't it? This whole hack exposed a massive vulnerability, not in our technology, but in human nature. So if a 17-year-old with just a phone can take over the primary communication tool for world leaders, celebrities, and major corporations, just how secure are the digital systems that we rely on every single day?